Well, hello and welcome back to another episode of the Virtual Devices demo series. Today we're working on the Grimalkin. It's a massive fuzz and trust me, it gets leery. So to start off, I'm just going to tell you what I'm working with. I'm again going through my Egnator Renegade amp, 65 watt, running through the Telecaster this time. I'll just give you a quick demo of my clean tone. So now we'll get on to the fuzz. Now the Grimalkin, it is a mashup of two different fuzzes. So one is an OP amp fuzz, and the other half of it is based on a Jordan Boss tone. And they're both, one is an octave up fuzz and one is an octave down fuzz, and it creates this massive mayhem sound that will go on, and it's definitely a unique fuzz with lots of tonal possibilities within it. So to start with the controls, we'll try and keep this simple. So let's start off with it. We'll ignore the bottom two for now, and we'll start off with the claw and fuzz, and then we'll go to the howl later on once we've explained everything else. So to start off quite simply, let's put it on here. We'll put it on a lowish fuzz setting. Fuzz is pretty self-explanatory. It's a fuzz control. It controls how much fuzz and how much gain you've got going through the circuit. So let's give it a quick demo of that. Put it back to midway. So that's your fuzz control. That mostly does, as you'd expect, the level of fuzz. Now second we'll move on to the claw control. While it's called claw, it is a volume control. So I'll just give you a quick demo. So obviously the more you turn up the claw control, the more it's going to overdrive your amp as well to give you an extra element of distortion within it. And you can get all sorts of cracking tones with messing about between the two. Low fuzz and a high claw, for example. And that'll act more like an overdrive distortion type thing, more distortion than overdrive. And again, if you whack the fuzz all the way up and turn that claw down, you can get a heavy fuzz box that's 3,000 miles away. And now we're going to move on to the next two controls. I think are easy to explain. The attack and fur. So they are both pre-gain controls. So they will affect how the sound comes out. To make it, you can almost make yourself a little spittery, spattery little fuzz if you turn the attack down. So I'll just give you a quick demo of that. turn it all the way up, you can get a really, really heavy fuzz sound. So as you can see, it affects how much compression is going on, and it also affects the kind of overtones the fuzz produces and the harmonic effects of using a fuzz. It makes you have a lot of tonal possibilities. Now moving on to the fur control, it acts in a similar way, but mostly amplifies the majority of the sound rather than acting before the fuzz as a pre-gain. It's more of a post pre-gain. I'll give you a quick demo. If you combine the two together, you can get, again, more of a spittery fuzz. The lower end you go. So if I just turn them both down at the same time now, we'll try and get that spittery, spurty fuzz. And if we turn them all the way up, you can get a really, really thick, high compression fuzz. There we go, let's turn these quite high. And again, you can sustain for hours and hours and hours with the pair turned up on full level. Very, 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 very loud. It's just what you want from a fuzz box. And now, if we move down onto the howl control, this is where it gets complicated and a bit more interesting. So, this is a bias control. Now, if you start with it down on around about 10 o'clock, you get a reasonable sort of bias sound, but the more you go up, the more it misbiases and the more you get oscillatory, low-pitched sub-bass coming through. So let's give you a quick demo of that. So yes, as you can see with the howl, it can create all sorts of tonal possibilities. Now the howl will interact with all of the other controls. So if I turn the fuzz down a little bit and put the howl at about 12 o'clock, you'll see quite a heavy sub bass and less fuzz. So as you can see, it's quite interactive with the rest of the controls, and if we turn the fuzz all the way up, you can get a massively thick, very, 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 very bassy, bass octavey fuzz. So it's quite interactive with the fuzz control to shape how that fuzz turns out, and it's very interactive with the fur and attack control. So I'm just going to tweak about with these two and try and show you the difference. We'll put the howl around about midway. Now again, if we mix that with the fur control, I'll turn that up as well. We'll keep the attack down low, and I'll show you how the howl control interacts with that. Let's put it about midway. Now we'll turn both the fur and the attack all the way up to max, and show you how this howl control interacts with that. And there again, towards the end, you get a little bit of that self-oscillation because the fuzz is just going so mental that it's just feeding back within itself, and it's beautiful. It's a beautiful, beautiful quirk of this thing. So there you have it. This is the Grimalkin, one of the most quirky, unique fuzzes I think there is on the market at the minute. And in all honesty, it's a cracker with lots and lots and lots of tonal opportunities for you to just mess about and play about with to get all sorts of sounds from an octave up to an octave down. Mash them together and you have this beautiful thing. Thanks everyone for your time. Have a good day.